After nearly 5 years of war in Syria and a refugee crisis unprecedented since the Second World War, peace talks have failed again. The UN has suspended the Geneva talks because no understanding had been reached between the Syrian government and the main opposition groups. While the current situation is prolonging the agony of the Syrian people, Patriarch Ignatius Joseph III YOUNAN has denounced what he terms international indifference to the violence in the Middle East. The Christian community in Iraq and Syria is increasingly discouraged because it sees that the family of powerful nations are not interested in the fate of vulnerable communities and minorities, such as Christians. There's only a seeking out their own interests. He noted that in Syria, the cradle of civilization, the most ruthless atrocities against human rights are being committed. And he warns that if the radicalism of Islamic State is left unchecked, it will spread across the world. These people who cut the throats of others, who kidnap children and women, who sow hatred, they'll extend their fanaticism everywhere as soon as they can. For these reasons, the Patriarch is in favor of a ground intervention to halt the bloodshed. He believes that the Russian military's intervention was less a move in favor of Assad and more one to help the Syrian people. I, as Patriarch, see the Russian intervention an action in favor of Syria, of the Syrian people. He explains that outside interests from Saudi Arabia or Turkey have helped encourage the revolution for religious reasons, as both Sunni countries are interested primarily in expelling al-Assad, an Alawite. The Patriarch is calling on moderate Muslims to speak out strongly against the violence directed at Christians. They must clearly say that they do not accept attacks on Christians and other minorities. It's not enough to say, do not kill, because it is forbidden for Muslims and they share the same faith. According to the UN, the Syrian war is the worst of the century. There are about 4 million people who have no access to humanitarian aid, and 70% of the hospitals are destroyed, and it is increasingly difficult to find medicine or medical help.